TNF Wrestling is back, Frank. It's back and better than ever.
Oh, yeah. And it's been a busy-ass week, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. So we've been on a bit of a hiatus for the podcast portion.
For the last,
what's up?
For the last 6 months.
Yeah. So, but especially with everything going on, we definitely wanted to get back into the swing of things. And the biggest topic, Frank, on everybody's mind is the huge announcement of Roman Reigns and his cancer, leukemia, whatever, coming back.
Yes, that none of us knew he ever had to begin with. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, one of the actual, secrets in wrestling.
Yeah, and like he never spoke. It's crazy because he does all these cancer things. He does all these Make-A-Wishes, and it's never come up. He's never used it in a storyline. It's just interesting. It's just something, especially for a guy like him that they were pushing to get over so many different ways. I'm surprised they never used this as a storyline, and I'm kind of happy about that.
Yeah. It's like a pleasant surprise kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So I know you kind of didn't see it live. So basically, we're watching Raw. I actually watched live, which is a rarity. So I actually got to watch it live. Me and my son were sitting down on the couch, we're watching it. Even my son he didn't even understand it. I kind of explained to him what was going on.
Mm.
He kept asking me questions. He's like, is he leaving? Is he coming back? What's going on? And then Nina, Thad's wife, starts texting me with one of her coworkers, and we're just talking about it. And I'm like, where's Thad? She's like, he's not even here yet. He doesn't even see what's going on. I'm like, what the fuck? But it was just, honestly, I've never been shocked like that in wrestling. I can't remember the last time something shocked me like that. Like, just hit me and just hit you to the core. Like, everyone knows on this show we are not fans of the Roman Reigns character.
Yeah.
It's not our favorite thing. We don't enjoy the way he's booked. We respect him as a wrestler, and
I honestly don't even mind the character. I just hate what they've created because Roman Reigns, the character, is a badass, right? Yes, he wasn't great on the mic. They tried to have him say suffering succotash, all that stupid shit. We've gone over it plenty. But just the way he was booked and it just, they really turned him into like that mini Cena, But he's a good worker. He has a pretty decent outside of, I cannot stand the cocking of the fist for the Superman punch.
Mm-hmm.
But his skill set, his move set is pretty decent. It's pretty diverse. He's a good athlete in the ring, but I just have not enjoyed him for a long time.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's just, he hasn't been an enjoyable character. I mean, even, with the Shield, it's been better. It helped a little, but.
Well, because when they do the Shield stuff, it's not focusing on Roman Reigns having these, drawn out matches where, again, the best matches that I find are the ones that have the ebb and the flow and false finishes aside, because I think sometimes they're overused. But the pacing of a match and what the reason I hated the John Cena matches, and it's one of the reasons why I started disliking Reigns and most of his matches. It just turns into, okay, the babyface gets beat up for 20 minutes and then hulks up and wins in the last 5 minutes.
Well, that's been going on since Cena,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I hated the Cena stuff, and that's why I started hating the Roman Reigns stuff.
Yeah. And with Reigns, it's so much worse because he's so big. And he's a really big dude, and it just... Yeah. And I guess with Cena, our brains just trained it, even though Cena was a big guy too. But I think with Reigns, it's just, it doesn't make sense when these little guys are beating him up for like 20 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever.
I had the same feeling with Cena.
Yeah.
Okay. Especially him overselling like the first punch of the match. Like Heath Slater could punch him early in the match, and he'd grab himself like it was the hardest. Like Big Show just hit him.
Yeah.
Like I've seen him no sell, the knockout punch more than, overselling the Heath Slater stuff.
Oh, that's fair.
Not that him and Heath Slater actually. I'm just saying somebody of that caliber. No offense to Heath.
Yeah. So I'll just paint a picture for everyone in case anyone didn't see it. But basically, the show opens, Roman's music hits, you get the usual crowd reaction, half boos, half cheers, whatever. But I'm watching it. He's coming out in street clothes. He has his wedding ring on. He's wearing a gold chain.
At first, I thought it was going to be an injury announcement or something.
That's what it looked like. I'm like,
something out of left field with like the steroid stuff or something. That's what I thought at first.
Yeah, and he's not coming through the crowd. I'm like, oh great, he's not coming through the crowd. I'm like, they're going back to this.
In fairness, they he hasn't come out from the crowd in a singles match in forever.
Yeah. Oh, but he's been with the Shield now for the last month or two. So I guess we kind of just got used to it, or he'd come out with them. He hasn't come out alone in a while to cut a promo, basically.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so he comes in the ring and he starts cutting the promo. He was doing the typical WWE speech, but then he goes into, I'm leaving, blah blah blah, and I'm gonna have to relinquish. And it was funny. The crowd kind of was like, "Oh crap, now what?" It wasn't like a happy cheer. He's relinquishing the title. It was like, "Oh no, what are they gonna do now?" But then he comes out with the cancer and leukemia, and I swear, everyone was just in shock. Like, I have to rewatch it to kind of see what the crowd's reaction was to it, but I think everyone was just kind of speechless because it just came out of left field, like really out of left field.
There was a couple fucking assholes booing it when he first said it, but I mean, those are people that are going to boo no matter what he said, and I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even hear what he said.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, probably weren't even listening.
Yeah, but fucking still assholes, asshole fans.
It was just amazing to see the turn of the crowd. It was like,
because I mean, most of the time people are booing him because of fucking Roman Reigns, not because of fucking Joe, the wrestler.
That's the thing too. And he goes, "Yeah, this is, my name's Joe." That's when we knew it was real. When he said, "Oh, my name's Joe," I was like, "Oh boy, something serious is gonna happen now." And it was funny because I just had kind of heard, like, I wasn't really paying attention because honestly, the product has sucked, so I haven't really been watching the dirt sheets and whatever. And sometimes I'm paying attention to Facebook and whatever we post up on the page or that we see from the other sites. But I'd heard he didn't work the weekend shows. I read something, so that thing came out that said Cena and Bryan were both not going to Crown Jewel, and they said Roman Reigns is out now because he's injured. And I'm like, wait a minute, this guy was fine a week ago. Yeah. How did he get injured all of a sudden?
That's why when I saw him in the street clothes, because I saw the same thing that you did. The Bryan and Cena in doubt for Crown Jewel and Reigns. What was it? It was something to the effect of Cena and Bryan and Roman Reigns injury, Crown Jewel up in the air kind of thing.
Yeah. So I had heard through one of the podcasts that he was, I think the night before they said, that he didn't work the house show at the weekend. I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess it is something serious in my head.
I was wondering if they did the Shield thing and this whole tease of the Ambrose stuff then.
Mm-hmm.
To cover like an injury, like maybe he had a rotator cuff that was getting worse and he needed to go on surgery, but he's gonna wait it out. Sometimes they hide injuries in tag teams and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this obviously a lot different than that.
Yeah, it was much different. And then I found out after the fact that they were waiting. The media was trying to find out what was wrong with him, and they said, you'll find out on Raw opens. He's going to open the show, and you'll get an explanation of what's going on with him. Mm-hmm. And like no insider knew. They were like, okay, whatever. They think it's an injury. Okay, he's going to whatever. But no one expected this. I mean, no one. And from what we read, only Vince, Triple H, and I guess some execs knew. Like, I don't even know if Ambrose and Rollins knew.
Mm-hmm.
I got to imagine they did. Those were his two best friends, but I don't know. Just the way Seth walked out, like in tears, I got to think he knew, or if that just hit him while he was listening backstage.
Yeah, I don't know. And they were there too. I mean, so I can't imagine. I don't know. Yeah, something was. I wouldn't be surprised if he told them like right before or something, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Before he went out.
Maybe.
Yeah, so I mean, but that was one of the. Listen, there's been a lot of rough times. I've seen stuff in wrestling. That's had to be one of the hardest things roughest things to watch, and that hit me emotionally, and that I was almost tearing up just watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just something you don't see, Like I don't think it's ever happened where we've had it. Yes, we've had people die. We lost Eddie. We lost Benoit. We lost what's his name? Owen Hart.
Yeah, and there's been a few like retirements that came out of nowhere, like Edge and stuff like that.
Yeah, Edge's retirement. Daniel Bryan's was, I was telling my buddy, I was telling Tony because he didn't even know about it. He was in Vegas. And he hates Roman Reigns. Like, he hates him so with a passion. And I told him, and I said, you have to watch the promo. I said, I think you'll see what Vince McMahon saw in this guy that that we could never see. That was the other thing. That was, as sad as it was, that was the best promo of his fucking career.
Dude, he's done good things. He has it in him. It's the booking. I honestly don't look. He's not the best at cutting promos.
No,
like the way they want, but he's got that that kind of the it factor, the swagger factor, whatever you want to call it or whatever. He looks good. He has that whatever, and yeah, there's nothing that. He's cut some decent promos, and we're like, oh, okay. What? But again, it's like, I'm Roman Reigns, and I'm, like it's always that, when the guy just gets to relax and talk.
Yeah, like he got to be himself, and I feel like I would have loved this guy would get over. I mean, aside from what he was talking about, but this is the guy that would get over. This is the guy I've heard Stone Cold talk about on his podcast that. He's a very cool, down-to-earth guy, and if they'd let the real him come out on screen, you guys would love him.
But they still book his matches terrible, so it wouldn't even matter if he was all right.
I don't know. I think, listen, everybody's matches are always booked terrible.
No, because here's the thing.
What, was Stone Cold not booked this way? Stone Cold got beat up the whole match and then came back and won. It was the same thing. The Rock, too.
I disagree. There was more ebb and flows to most of those matches. And there was still something better that you don't connect with Roman Reigns, and the same thing with Cena. We lost connection with John Cena. Yeah. It became the same stuff all the time. And John Cena could cut the hell out of a fucking promo.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
I always give him credit for that. I hated the content of his promo sometimes. But his delivery and like there were times, especially when it was like the Cena show, like there was literally nobody.
Yeah,
dude, he'd make a random pay-per-view. You'd get fucking hyped for it the way he'd sell, in his promos on the go home shows. Yep. But unfortunately, it got to the point where that was the only good thing about Cena, and then even that started going away a bit. Yeah. And it was basically just whoever was facing him, he just fucking made fun of him. And not in a like, haha, that's the character's gimmick way. It was like, hey, look at Bray Wyatt. He's fat with Hawaiian shirts. I should beat him. Like,
yeah.
But this isn't about Cena.
No. But what was your reaction? Like, I know, I was freaking hit hard. I mean, you didn't get to see it live, and I'm guessing Nina just told you when you walked in what happened.
No, she didn't tell me anything, and I watched it.
Oh, okay. So she started.
It didn't matter if it was at 9:00 or 9:30. I saw it for the first time live. Okay. Yeah, it was emotional. Like I said, as soon as he walked out, I was like, "Oh shit, something serious. He's out with some kind of injury." The other thing that crossed my mind was remember he had the what was that, the hernia or the whatever or something like that, right? The abdominal issue.
Yeah.
Something like that. I was wondering if something like that. Because that's something you can kind of hide a little bit in tag teams. So, like if you don't, because you can still perform. It's just, how much damage you do, how much pain you're in, and stuff like that, right? So, being in the tag team stuff, but they, I don't know, they had some, I don't know, yeah. My first reaction was, shit, this is a serious injury. He's going to be out for a while. Something, because he came out in the street clothes and just his whole mannerisms and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And honestly, before he even said my name is Joe stuff, he's like, I've come out here and said a lot of stuff as Roman Reigns. I was like, that's weird that he said that.
Yeah.
Usually yes, like the Miz could refer to himself in third person and stuff like that, but Roman Reigns never has, and it didn't seem like a thing. So street clothes, referring to self in third person and talking about him coming out and talking a bunch of shit was whatever. Yeah, so between injury or steroid thing or something, I was like, oh shit, this is bad. And then he's like, my name is Joe, and I've been living with leukemia for 11. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
so that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it was crazy.
And it's crazy. I don't
And
know
you
about
never want
you.
to see shit like this to happen, to anybody.
No, it's horrible. And he has 3 daughters at home. He's got a wife at home.
Sure, sure.
He's basically dedicated the last 6 years of his life to this. He's already not seen them a lot, and then this is now he has to deal with this.
Yeah,
So just
yeah. Hopefully, especially because he had it. I'm sure he's been doing regular testing and all that kind of stuff.
mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping maybe they caught it early, and
Yeah, I'm sure they
this
do.
will be a non-factor as far as look. I'm not even talking about coming back to the ring. I'm just talking about surviving cancer.
Yeah. I mean, it's scary because I don't know about you, but look, I've never heard like adults getting leukemia. I've always heard about kids getting it.
Yeah. Well, don't forget. I mean, he was relatively young when he had it originally.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was 11 years ago. So
Yeah. So it was,
yeah, from what I read, the timeline it was like right after I think he was finishing up football or he got it, and that's when he had to retire from football. I think something like that.
yeah. So I'm assuming right after college, right? Something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. So probably early
Or
20.
early 20s. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the distinction of when does it stop being leukemia? When does it turn into cancer? I'm not 100% sure on that. So,
yeah. So
but yeah, you hear leukemia, you think kids, right? Usually.
kids and whatever, and most of the time they make it. And, it's not one of the more deadlier cancers. I'm hoping. I mean, that's what I've heard. I'm hoping that's the case. But it's also scary because it's this now he has to fight it for the second time.
Sure.
You don't know if it's going to be harder, easier. He's older. The abuse his body's been through the last couple of years.
Yeah, sure.
All it takes with the traveling and the wrestling and everything. So, but it's just crazy that going through that he went to do a living like this. Like I don't know if all of us would do that, like surviving cancer and then going to one of the most probably difficult sports there is, and draining, and that just takes a toll on your body.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So the big question I've been hearing, and I think it's stupid for people to even think this, but everybody was wondering that maybe this is why Vince pushed him so hard because he wanted to capitalize in case because he was sick or something might happen. And I was like,
I'm not gonna lie, it crossed my mind.
I would say that, but he was investing long term in Roman Reigns. I mean, he's making him the top guy, for a long time. So I got to think he's not going to think he's not this cancer's going to come back at any point and he can lose it.
Devil's advocate, though, if you don't think you have him long term, why not push him harder than need be? Right? What do we always say about Roman Reigns? Shit started happening way too quick for him as a singles competitor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we always talk about like AJ Styles or Asuka or somebody like that they bring over. They're not young, right? So they push him harder.
Yeah. AJ makes sense. You had to capitalize quick on him.
Sure. Who's to say maybe that wasn't why Vince went overboard pushing Roman the way he did?
Mm-hmm.
How many years? Because it's obvious whether we like how he's booked or not. Dude, Roman has star written all over him, right? He's got the look, he's got the physique, he's athletic, he's gifted, he's good at wrestling. He's not just like some athletic dude that knows how to do a bunch of flips and can wrestle okay. Like he's a pretty decent wrestler too. Like he's a good worker. He does things that most people his size can't do, right? He's like Kane plus, right? When we saw Kane go to like the top rope back in the day, we were like, holy shit, like this is a guy that's they bill as like a 7-footer, so to speak, right? The Undertaker's equal, and Undertaker's flying over the top rope and Kane's climbing up to the turnbuckle. You didn't see fucking like Diesel didn't do that shit back in the day. Right?
That's true. Yeah, the big men today can move much better than they did back then.
Yeah. So, but anyway, Roman has star written all over him. So, again, I don't think it necessarily happened that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think that it didn't to some degree, but I mean, if you're looking at it from Vince's point of view, right? You have this guy, he's the relative of The Rock, he has star written all over him, but he has this lingering thing hanging over him. How long will he last, so to speak? Right? And I mean, it's not like Vince has never been accused of using somebody physically, right, as a wrestler to get to to capitalize or on whatever. I mean, look at the usage rate of Daniel Bryan, let's say, right? he goes from nowhere to all of a sudden hype train to now it's he's wrestling 2 matches a night, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's stuff that they've done in the past. Now, obviously, things are a lot different now. I'd like to think Vince is mellowed in age as a promoter, so to speak. And it's not necessarily that, but I'm not gonna lie, it fucking crossed my mind. If Reigns hadn't been pushed as quickly and awkwardly as he was early on, I don't think it would be necessarily a question. But because again, we always said if you just gave him another year, if he was headlining WrestleMania as a singles competitor in his 2nd full year, right?
3rd year, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, not that it never happens, but it usually doesn't, and it usually doesn't with a young, wrestler like that.
No, I mean, you had the only other 2 that moved that quickly were, I think, Brock and Angle, and maybe The Rock. But I think The Rock was even
dude. Think about The Rock. He went through the Rocky Maivia years, man.
Yeah, no.
He went through the Nation of Domination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was just he was so young because he was I think at the time he was the youngest champ. So, but that's because
That's possible.
But he did,
and same thing too with Randy Orton. Randy Orton was a young champ, but he was also brought up in the business like The Rock, and whatever. So I mean, yeah, Roman Reigns fits that description too. But
yeah,
again, he was still green when he was a singles wrestler, and they started pushing him hard.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, definitely.
The Rock, and Randy, at least in those situations, were much more accomplished in the ring than Roman was at that point.
Yeah, well, Randy was just
Randy's Randy.
He's just born to be a wrestler.
Yeah. I like JBL always used to say, right? He had said something to the effect, if you were to start a wrestler, create a wrestler, it would be Randy Orton.
Yeah, I mean, he just had everything. There's just nothing the guy missed.
In ring for a and I wonder too. I don't think Randy is ever going to be in the same conversation as like Stone Cold and Shawn and The Rock and guys like that, right?
No, he's more in the Triple H conversation.
Yeah, but think about it, man. In ring, there might not have been anyone more fluid, gifted, and good. Like hard work and stuff like that. Because there's been tons of guys that have been like super, super talented, and you could tell they didn't put in the work and they didn't last that long, right? Randy Orton has the look, the everything. Like, he's not the best on the mic, but he's good enough, and everything else is fucking top notch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it's not even a guy. I can't even remember a time he botched anything. I honestly can't. You probably remember sometimes somebody else messed him up. It feels like he never made mistakes.
Yeah, he very rarely makes mistakes. I mean, there's definitely some Orton botches out there.
Mm-hmm. And look at him now. I mean, I'm impressed with him that he's able to reinvent himself again as a heel at this stage of his career, and he's doing new things, different things than he ever did before.
Mm-hmm.
So I give him credit for that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, our prayers and thoughts are with Joe and Noy. I don't know what his last name is. Noy. And his family, and hopefully he comes back soon, and like he's not out too long. And when one thing is, if he does come back, he will get his babyface reaction when he comes back.
For the love of God, too. Like, and again, I'm hoping that they caught it early enough, and he's still young enough, and all that kind of stuff. He can beat this, right? So let's go under the assumption that Joe is okay, right, and Roman comes back, right?
Yeah.
For the love of God, let it be just a fucking. He comes in and he spears somebody. Like, don't announce fucking 6 weeks from now, Roman Reigns returns on Raw. Like, have that be a surprise, man. Right? Because think about that. If you can keep it under wraps that Roman Reigns is coming back, and he comes out and he fucking whoever the top heel is at the time, or fuck it, even if you want to have him come back as a heel, maybe he wants to go fucking crazy with his career, right? He wants to come back as a heel. Let's say I beat cancer, fuck you, I'm here, whatever. Just have him come out and fucking spear somebody. Nobody needs to know about it. Just fucking let that be a surprise. If there was ever a fucking surprise comeback, can it be his?
Well, our hope and prayers can be that when Roman Reigns does come back, Vince is no longer in power. It's the only thing we can hope for, and that Triple H is running it, and he'll do it the right way. You know,
maybe. I hope so.
That can be our hope and prayers. But let's see.
So on, I guess happier news. We have Evolution coming up this Sunday.
That's right. Which they barely did any promoting for. That's the only thing I was kind of annoyed with. I mean, it's not their fault, but that this week everything happened. But
yeah, but I mean, they haven't done I don't think they've mentioned Crown Jewel much more than they've mentioned Evolution in the past few weeks.
No, they really haven't.
Right?
And it's kind of it's like a throwaway show. It really is. It's like No Mercy or something, you know.
Yeah. To some degree, I do understand. It's hard to build a pay-per-view when half the people that are going to be on the pay-per-view aren't even on the active roster or in the middle of.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of NXT people going, you know.
Yeah, they have a bunch of NXT. They have some returning, you know, veterans and you know, stuff like that. And with Alexa Bliss being hurt, it threw a wrench into that whole thing. Also, too, is she actually gonna go, or are they gonna? Does Alicia Fox have to wrestle for her?
They don't know yet.
Yeah, game time decision.
She's on concussion protocol, so.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's concussion. So.
It's been a few weeks now. No.
No, this happened like a week ago. I think this happened over the weekend. I think at house shows.
Oh, so she just hasn't been wrestling on Raw for no reason?
Yeah. I don't know if it was other nagging injury she had, but this, for whatever she has now, is a concussion.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I think she got hurt over the week. I think it happened over the weekend.
All right. Okay. So I don't know. Game time decision. But we have to watch it'll be like fantasy football. We have to tune in that morning and see if our players are going to be in.
Yep. Gotta find out. If not, we get Alicia Fox. I mean, Jesus. That just tells you the outcome of that match.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think there was any. I think Trish and Lita were fucking gonna win anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters whether it was Alicia Fox or Alexa Bliss, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. Do you want to just run down the card, or is there anything you want to talk about first?
No, I got the card here.
All right, so let's go run down the matches.
We can get back to everything else.
Talk some Evolution. Maybe give some predictions.
Do some predictions here. Then we can go back to Raw a little about all the craziness that happened on Raw, and then we can just talk about the Saudi crap. Jesus Christ, that fucking shit mess.
I don't even know if I want to deal with that too much, to be honest. It's a fucking shit show.
I know, but we got a job to do.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we got Bayley and Sasha and Natalya versus the Riot Squad.
Mm-hmm. Faces win.
Unfortunately, I just don't understand why you didn't. This was the time to do Bayley versus Sasha. If any day would have been the time, this would have been the time. I just don't understand it. I don't get what they're doing with them. And
now, was Sasha out for an injury, or was she filming, or what was she out a few weeks ago?
She did an interview yesterday. she was having major headaches and a lot of, you know, problems. Like she was getting a little dizzy. So I'm sure there was some concussion that's going on there. So
Okay.
basically took, you know, some time off to kind of get her head, I guess, back together. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so now she's back. And I guess, you know, hopefully she's back to herself and hopefully she'll stop trying to kill herself and not hurt her head anymore.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it is like a recurring head issue, she's got to stop some of these retarded suicide dives and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing too. For as much as she kind of botches some of that kind of stuff, she's not a bad wrestler. There's got to be other ways for her to wrestle without doing that stuff. You know what I mean? Because if that's the only reason why you're a good wrestler, then you're not a good wrestler.
No, and she is. She has a good ground game. I think she could. You know, I think they just think they need to all do that now. I mean, look at a lot of them. Like, look at Daniel Bryan. He couldn't even. He started doing the suicide dives again. I mean, they just can't stay away from it. I don't know what it is. They feel they need to fly through the ropes and do all this crazy shit.
And it bothers me the most with Bryan because he is such a good wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason you couldn't. Now, is it as exciting? No, but there's no reason why you couldn't have, because Daniel Bryan still has hype stuff like his when he does the corner knee things and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
and he's got a good enough repertoire that he still has exciting stuff. But turn him more into like a grappler and a submission wrestler and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
they have to understand that people are going to like Daniel Bryan whether he's doing the fucking headbutt off the top ropes or not. And Daniel Bryan needs to understand that too. Daniel Bryanson, even.
Yeah. I don't know. He just loves
Bryan Danielson. What the fuck am I talking about?
Yeah. Anyway, so back to this. So yeah, so I guess I agree with you. The faces will probably win. Although I'm getting to the point now where I want to see what's her name kind of break away a little or get some kind of spotlight on her.
Ruby?
Yeah, because
I'm fine with her being in part of the Riot Squad. They need to let her win a match fucking here or there.
Not even that. Just let her do some singles matches and have her run, you know, and have them by her side. Let her
doesn't matter. Yeah, but they did that before the injury. She was doing tons of that.
Yeah.
She was in line for title defense for a little while, right?
Mm-hmm.
They ran with that, and then she never fucking won anything, though.
Yeah.
You know, like what is she supposed to do?
Get booked better. That's all.
Yeah, but she has no control over that.
No, I know. I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying I'd like to see that for her.
Yeah. But it's fine with her to stay with the Riot Squad. This is the same thing with putting all these girls in these tag matches and stuff. But Evolution was coming, and if you want to fill, everybody was so excited about an all women's pay per view, and it's great, it's wonderful. I'm glad they're doing it. But at the same time, you have to understand, you don't have a roster that's big enough to support a pay per view with like regular storylines and regular matches and stuff like that.
I think they could have, to be honest, though. I think if they had used a lot of these women correctly and done it right and set it up the right way and weren't so worried about this crown jewel crap, I think they could.
Look, take crown jewel out of it, though, dude. Who? So you have Charlotte and Becky. Sure, that's a big time match, right? Ronda. They fucking put her with Nikki. All right, fucking whatever. But
put her with, I mean, they should have put her with Natalia instead. I mean, in my opinion, but whatever. I get it. Nikki's a big draw.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
And listen, I can't knock it because once they announced the match, the tickets started going a little better. So
yeah, but again, outside of those girls, who is really tearing up the world that they could put in singles matches? They've done nothing with Asuka after she lost to Charlotte.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
they haven't pushed Iconics enough the way they could. Ember Moon has not been. You know,
Ember Moon's good, but she's doing all this stuff with Nia now too.
Like this, I mean, I think there's a couple of matches they could have put together. Maybe, I mean,
yeah, for us as fans, but to build a pay-per-view around, no.
Mm.
And part of it's their own fault because they haven't pushed these girls to be individual stars as well as they could have.
No,
Definitely not.
not at all. Like I
It,
would like Ember Moon and Nia Jax could have been a match. That would have been cool. Like we saw those two get kind of a little thing a week or two ago.
yeah, I mean, I guess, but also too, like think about it too. Think about a regular pay per view. How many matches are there in a regular pay per view?
7 or 8.
Yeah, and you got the tag championships, you got the intercontinental championship or the U.S. belt, you have the heavyweight belt. There's and it's usually some kind of big match too, even if it's not the heavyweight belt that's on the line. You know, you
Yeah.
don't have that for the women's division. You don't have a bunch of belts that mean or signify or supposed to feel like bigger matches, right?
That's why they brought the UK women's title. They brought the NXT women's title into this, so they have other titles to see besides the only two.
Yeah, sure. So there's other title matches, but again, it's not. And it's the UK who American fans. How many people of them even knew there was a UK women's belt?
I still don't know. I still didn't know. I just found that when I looked at this page. I had no idea there was one.
Oh, really? Yeah. When they started pushing the UK stuff and they announced that they were going to have their show and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I think they did it right before that or right around that, something like that.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
yeah,
no, yeah, I just felt they could have done a little more. That's all. I would have liked to have seen some of these girls get singles matches. That's all. But it is what it is.
yeah.
No, I'm sure they're gonna try to keep, if they're gonna have the Saudi Arabia show keep going, they're gonna have to do this too probably every year. So hopefully they'll figure it out.
What Evolution?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see why they can't. And again, I fuck the Saudi stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why there's any reason why you can't do an all women's pay per view once a year,
Yeah.
as long as it doesn't become like gimmicky
Mm.
and they do a little bit better with some of the storylines and the matches and stuff like that. There's no reason why this can't be a successful pay per view every year, right? It's got built in marketing.
Yeah.
It just does.
Of course.
Whether you like women's wrestling or not, the fact that you're building a pay per view around this concept of the women's evolution, not only in wrestling but the entire planet, basically, it's got its own built-in marketing. And honestly, I honestly think as long as it doesn't get gimmicky and you don't fucking just brush it off when you're planning stuff, it can be a successful thing. And I don't want to see more than one of them a year, but I think one a year would be perfect.
Yeah, 1 year is fine.
So, all right. So let's. So what match were we on before we?
We just started with Bailey, Sasha, Natalia versus the Riot Squad. So, yeah, we said
Okay, yeah, I remember that one. Okay.
Faces will win that match.
What's next on the card?
Next is the old versus the new. So, well, I guess it's the old and one new.
Not Tori.
You got Trish and Lita versus hopefully Alexa and Mickey. If not, Alicia Fox will fill in for Alexa.
Yeah.
Again, I think, especially based on the fact that Alicia Fox might fill in, Trish and Lita are winning this match regardless.
Yeah. I mean, come on. You got two Hall of Famers out there.
Yeah. I mean, you know what sucks, though? I mean, I don't know if you caught it. They weren't getting any reaction. Like, no one really cared, I felt like.
Yeah, I mean, half the audience doesn't even know who those two are, though.
Yeah, that's part of it. They haven't, like I was listening to one of the other podcasts and he was talking and his daughter's getting into it and she was a fan. And she saw the Women's World Rumble and she forgot who Trish was.
Mm.
So I guess maybe they're just not doing a good job of explaining to them who these girls are. And I mean, listen, not a knock on them. They were good for their time, but I still don't think they really compare to the girls of this era. Like to the Bailey, Charlotte, Becky.
I don't know.
Like, I don't think they're on their skill level. Maybe Lita was. I don't think Trish was, though.
But Trish turned into a good wrestler. She was awful when she started.
Wrestler. She became a good wrestler. But for that time, there was nobody else. It was them two, and that was it.
Yeah.
Nobody else was anywhere near their level.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that, but that's like saying, well, Jordan was good for his time.
I guess.
And I agree that I'm not calling either of them the Jordan of their era. I think there are other women that I don't know. I don't know. It's a discussion for another day either way. But like people that are good, like Lita would be good now. She would have to, adjust a little bit. And I think with as much as much work as Trish put in, because she was awful. Like her and Stacy Keibler were basically on the same level. Only Trish got better and created a Hall of Fame career, whereas Stacy Keibler was what she was. Which again, not a knock on her, but we're not going to mention Stacy Keibler when we're talking about best female wrestlers ever. So I think, look, is Trish, comparatively speaking, as talented as some of these girls? No, probably not. But who's to say that if she came up in this era, she wouldn't have been, if she wanted to be on the main roster, she would have been forced to be better and, wouldn't have kept up with them, you know?
No, it's true. It's a different, like you said, it's a different era, it's a different time.
Yeah, so it's tough to just say that the older people just would never adapt, But anyway, yeah, I don't see any reason why Trish and Lita would lose this, to be honest. It's not like Alexa's good enough too that it's not like if she loses this, you're like, oh, there goes all of Alexa's momentum,
Yeah.
They haven't done much with Alexa for the last few weeks anyway, outside of cutting these promos with them. And I'm just thinking too. So it happened before Raw, the concussion. So the weekend before this past Raw,
she wasn't on TV this week.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So it happened. House shows right before it, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, that doesn't matter. Just something popped in my head. But yeah, so going into it, I don't even imagine that Alexa was going to win. Maybe just to get some heel heat. Maybe she would have cheated to win or some kind of thing. But
I thought they might have won because, listen, you don't need usually the older people don't win these matches. Usually the young people go over in these matches. So.
Yeah, but you have to remember this is a different kind of pay-per-view. This isn't some random old versus new kind of thing, like
I know, and Mickey's no spring chicken either, so at the same time. But Alexa's the only young person in the match.
Yeah. So I do think that it making it a tag match was a better idea.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree on that. I don't think
because having a spot in the Royal Rumble and doing well is one thing. Working a whole match with somebody, for let's say 10, 15 minutes, it's a lot different. So you tag them up. You can give them the time that they need, without having to necessarily. And that's not to say that Trish is going to suck, but you don't necessarily have to worry about that. Oh God, what if Trish sucks?
Yeah,
for 10 minutes. So
it's true. It's true.
And she's in fantastic shape, but how much wrestling has she done?
Yeah, well, she still seems like she did great at Rumble. So
yeah, but again, how many minutes did she need to go? With impressive stuff. Like
no, I know it wasn't like a 20-minute match, just back and forth.
Yeah, doing. Let's say even she was in the Rumble for 15, 20 minutes or something like that. It's one thing to do a couple of moves here and there when you come in, and then you get beat up and you sit in the corner or whatever. Like
get to rest or whatever.
Yeah. And also too, there's a bunch of people in the ring in a Rumble. When it's one-on-one, all eyes are on you.
Yep.
So I thought just for a nostalgia factor and the women's evolution and
it was definitely
that kind of stuff. Faces winning in this scenario makes perfect sense.
Most likely. All right. So next we have Battle Royal for Future Women's Championship match. So the participants as of right now are Alicia Fox, Asuka, Billie Kay, Carmella, Dana Brooke, Ember Moon, Lana, Mandy Rose, Naomi, Nia Jax, Peyton Royce, Sonya Deville, Tamina, Corey Wilson's returning. Michelle McCool's coming back. Alundra Blaze. That's cool. Um,
Yeah.
Ivory, Molly Holly. That's another cool one. Kelly. I could care less. And Maria Kanellis. So I have two people I think that could win this. I say it's between Nia Jax and Ember Moon.
Probably, yeah.
I don't see anybody else here that needs this win, or because Asuka won Royal Rumble, so they're not going to give it to her, and they're not doing anything with her. None of the
Yeah.
people coming back are going to. None of the old people are going to win. They're just there for nostalgia.
Yeah. I could see them giving Asuka another win and making it like she's a battle royal specialist kind of thing, and that this is what pushes her again.
Yeah.
But they really have not done anything with her, and who the hell knows? Maybe when does Mix Max Challenge end? Actually, unfortunately, I think that has to do with booking too.
Probably a couple of weeks. I think it's almost over.
Because I was even saying you could have Asuka turn heel and like throw Naomi out, and then she gets a shot at the championship and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What she's what they're on Raw, right? I mean SmackDown, right?
Who?
Naomi and Asuka, or is it? I don't even remember.
Yeah, they're on SmackDown.
Yeah, so they're on SmackDown. So they'd be going for Charlotte and Becky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they probably wouldn't turn Asuka heel at this point because I think Becky retains.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. That's an interesting match too.
Yeah.
So have you been keeping up with the Mae Young Classic? Because it just says TBA versus TBA. I have no idea who's even in the match.
I've seen a couple that have like so and so is eliminated and so advances, but I haven't kept up with it. Honest, I really liked the first ones, and I wanted to watch this one. I just haven't had the time to follow it. So, and I don't like knowing the results as much as possible before I watch it because I do plan on watching it. Yeah. I like to go into each match going, "Oh my God, who's going to win?" So yeah, obviously there's a couple girls I know that have advanced, but I don't want to know more than that because I want to watch the ebb and flow and how do they decide the match.
Yeah.
I
mean, I've heard the name Toni Storm because I think that's the one they think's going to win. I don't know if she's.
Yeah.
I don't know anything really. I'm just going on what I've heard through other podcasts. But I'm hearing she's the one that thinks going to win if she's in the match. I don't even know. Or who she's fighting. And I think, I don't know. Yeah, I honestly don't know who the other person is in the match. Because I haven't been watching NXT even because I know usually they keep you up to date through there, but I'm so behind on NXT also. I don't know. Although
yeah, I haven't been able to watch NXT. I know I usually don't have time to follow and watch every week. So that I do follow up on, and I watch the storylines and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't watched it itself to get the updates and like I said, knowing that I want to watch it, I was hoping to really get it in before now even, but I'm hoping to kind of power through some of the matches and get it done before the pay-per-view.
Yeah, because I think we have till what I guess Survivor Series will be the next NXT pay-per-view. So, all right. So yes, I guess we'll kind of skip over that. The next one again, I don't know who's in this match. It says NXT UK Women's Championship.
I don't know the girls well enough, honestly, to
Rhea Ripley versus somebody. I don't know who it would be. I don't even know who the English girls are, so I couldn't even tell you. When I know the one person I love in NXT is Bianca Belair, but aside from that, I don't know. Or Belair, sorry. Other than that, I don't really know anybody.
Okay.
All right. So NXT Championship, Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. From what I hear, the build to this has kind of just been showing workout videos of Shayna and her prepping and preparing. Like I said before, I'm not a fan of Kairi Sane. I don't get it. She does nothing impresses me with her.
Oh,
I don't
she's got a good elbow off the top rope.
I guess it's just
I think the biggest thing going against her with a lot of fans that don't like her is her size.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, an elbow from the top rope from her doesn't look like it should hurt that much, I guess. I don't know. It's just when you're used to watching bigger people, and even in the women's division itself, bigger people doing these moves. I mean, obviously, if you put the point of the elbow down and fucking drive it through someone's chest, it's going to hurt from any height. But yeah, I think that's the biggest disconnect with some of the fans, and maybe it's for you too. Is her size? She
don't like that
looks so light.
And this pirate character, I don't like I don't like anything about her.
Oh no,
I don't like the pirate character. I think
don't tell Chris. He will not be happy about this.
Yes, I know.
He loves her.
He has to get over it.
I do too. I like her. I think in an age where almost everybody has lost characters and gimmicks and stuff like that, it's kind of refreshing for her to do like the pirate stuff. Like she had the NXT belt in like a treasure chest, and I don't know. She said in an interview too, like she explained her whole connection with the pirate theme and all that kind of stuff, and it was, kind of like driving her own ship and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I don't know. I dig it. I think I like what she can do in the ring. I like that at times she does look like, for even a little girl, she can put some hurting on somebody. Like she can kick ass. I mean, I'm not gaga over her like some people are, but I like her. I dig it. I dig the pirate theme.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe part of it for me too is that she's doing all this against Shayna Baszler, who should kill her.
Yes.
It's just unbelievable.
I mean, well, here's the thing, though. Fuck you, all right? Because Rey Mysterio. How about that? You guys have to tell me that fucking Rey Mysterio can beat Big Show. Bullshit.
Ray. Anybody? He's a Mighty Mouse.
Yeah. Because sometimes little guys can be giants too. Where the fuck? What's his line from the game?
I don't know.
Anyway. Look. Kairi's good, and I agree though. Having her win the belt and then defend the belt against Baszler is, I don't know, because you feel like even with, let's say, right, because the way you can play it off with her, and it's really the way I wish they would have played it off a little bit more with Ronda is, yes, she's more physically dominating. Yes, she's going to be stronger most likely than any opponent that she's going against. And she literally looks like she can break almost any woman, let alone probably some men too, in half. Like, just pick them up and snap them. Yeah. The way you beat these people, though, is their inexperience, right? And you can, the smaller people can out-wrestle them and cause them pain and hit their leg and take away their strengths and all that kind of stuff. But when it's Kairi, it's compounded. This is literally the Rey Mysterio Big Show or something like that comparison. Because as good as Rey will ever be, he just doesn't look like he should be able to survive a match against the Big Show. Yeah. Right? And again, the quickness gets you so far, right? It's hard for the Big Show to grab him and this and that. But eventually the Big Show does grab him. And he does these moves that, like, knock out 7-footers. But, like, here's Rey Mysterio just getting up from everything, And it's always the hurdles you have to overcome when you have, the physically dominant star versus almost anyone, but especially someone small like Kairi. So, I don't know. And this is one of those things, like, literally, especially if they want to keep Baszler down there to kind of hone it up a little bit and then bring her up to face Ronda later in the year, maybe Baszler wins. It was a nice storybook ride that Kairi Sane won the NXT Women's Championship, especially against her. Mm-hmm. A much bigger and stronger opponent. Like, oh my God, it's the stuff that dreams are made of. It's the Rey Mysterio route, right? But maybe Baszler, comes back and gets her revenge, so to speak. wins back the belt and shows how dominant she is. You know, you've established Kyrie over these last weeks or months or whatever it is, and now Baszler can take it back and run with it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna hot shot the belt back. I think she's pretty much ready to come up to the main roster too. So I don't think they're gonna.
She's ready because she looks like she can kill women. She's not a good wrestler yet. She sucks at selling.
I think
I shouldn't say she sucks.
She's got much better.
She's still not that good.
All right.
With her, and again, part of it is the right matchups and the right women to work with, and this goes for the men too. But it breaks the immersion for me too when I watch matches where the better person has to like pretend to be dazed and like I don't know. It's like she's not good at that part. Like like I don't know, the Big Show. Like Rey Mysterio would drop kick the Big Show in the head, and the Big Show would kind of like stumble around until Rey was able to get back up and do his next move. Right?
Yeah.
That she sucks at. Her looking weak and stumbling and doing that like wait period where the other person gets to get in their offense. That's the part that is the worst, I think, in her in-ring performance.
All right. Well, let's see. I haven't seen her in a while. Let's see. Maybe she improves. We'll see how she does on Sunday. Maybe every time we see her, she definitely improves.
Oh, sure. But does that mean she's ready to face Bayley or Charlotte? Natalia even? Can she wrestle with these women yet? I don't know.
Anybody go with Natalia?
Well, you know what I mean. It's one thing anybody can wrestle her, and she can wrestle with anybody because she's that fucking good. But should Baszler come up, and is she good enough for that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And also, too, here's the other thing that you have to keep in mind too. NXT is a brand now. It's not a farm system where as soon as the guy bats 348, he's going to get called up to the majors. Like think about how long Finn Balor was down there. Think about how long Bayley was down there. Both of them were ready to come up to the main roster months before they did.
Yeah, Samoa Joe too.
Yeah. I mean, Samoa Joe probably didn't even need an NXT. He could have jumped right to the main roster like AJ. But it's part of what they're doing down there. They're building these stories. They're building these rivalries. Because here's the other thing too. NXT, as good as it is, and as great as it is seeing these stars up and coming and blossoming into stars and all that kind of stuff. Think about it. If everybody, as soon as they were just about good enough, went up to the main roster, what would NXT be? How long would we enjoy watching it? It's not like there's going to be a star ready to be born every 6 months. And they need to continue to build this hype train with NXT and keep these people, right? Gargano, Ciampa, Aleister Black, these guys could wrestle on the main roster right now. We know that they're good enough. Baszler could have good matches with people in a grappling format. Actually, to be honest, she probably would have some pretty good matches with Natalia because Natalia can make her look good. But what happens when she faces Sasha?
Yeah.
Sasha's gonna need to get her offense in, and Baszler needs to stumble around like fucking Herman Munster. She needs to be able to work. Like as much as I like their characters, the Iconics, especially the one with the straighter hair. Her name escapes me right now. Anyway, she's terrible. Her wrestling right now is going back to like divas wrestling, like those middle tier girls that they know how to run the ropes, they know how to make certain stuff look good, but they're not smooth. There's nothing about her wrestling right now that screams main roster. But they got great characters and they're a good duo. And right now, duos seem to be the thing in the women's wrestling division. Sasha and Bayley and Asuka and Naomi, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I could definitely see Baszler winning it back and going on for a little while. Kind of like, well, who was it that had the back? Was it Finn and Joe that had the back and forth, or Joe and
Was it Joe and Nakamura? I forget.
maybe, right?
Yeah, I can't remember. But Joe did win it twice, so yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and honestly, if they want this to continue as a brand, they're probably going to need to do that every once in a while.
Yeah.
You can't just elevate somebody to be champ, and as soon as they lose, we know they're going to the main roster, especially if it's right around like right around the draft or the reshuffle or whatever they call it every year.
That's why I kind of like what they've been doing with Gargano and Ciampa and everything. Like, what they've just done with Gargano, they completely changed him and whatever, and now they're kind of talking with each other again. It's kind of funny, so we'll see what happens there. I'm kind of curious. That's why I want to watch NXT. I want to catch up and see.
I don't know if they're talking yet. I think Ciampa just put out a couple of cool tweets.
Yeah, put some cool tweets out there. So, but should be interesting to see.
So now again, I saw that he came back. That Aleister Black came back, and I saw that Gargano kicked him. But so are they running with the storyline then that it was Gargano that attacked him, or
I think that's what he said. Like he did like the Austin, it was me, whatever type thing.
Okay. Yeah. I read the headline, but I didn't read any further because I wanted to actually watch it. Go back and watch that part at least.
That's what I want to do. I want to watch everything. So
yeah,
I'm like a month behind right now. So
okay.
I haven't been.
Yeah, because honestly, week to week, look, the matches are usually pretty good. And there's certain wrestlers that I really like and enjoy, like Ciampa, fucking Velveteen. I do like Black, although I thought I would like him more, but I don't know. We'll see. So and there's definitely guys I like and I follow, but just week to week.
You got Adam Cole. I mean,
Oh, sure. Yeah. No,
they got a great roster. I mean, the roster is now stacked.
Yeah.
And I'm happy the women's roster, they signed Ryder's girlfriend. They signed Mia Yim.
Okay.
So I'm very happy with those two signings.
That was, what's her name, from TNA, right? The crazy,
that was
the crazy gimmick.
Yeah, she did the crazy gimmick, and Mia Yim was Jade from TNA. I don't know if you remember her.
Yeah, I do. I didn't get to see her much, but I do remember the character.
And I think she may be Shelton Benjamin's girlfriend. I'm not sure. They're always like messing with each other all the time. So I don't know if they're just good friends or they're dating. I don't know what it is, but anyway, yeah, she's cool. So I think you'll like her. Reminds me of a Jackie type.
Okay.
Butch type chick, a little rough and rugged. So I like that. Anywho, so you think Shayna's gonna win?
Honestly, I'm 50-50.
Okay.
Because again,
I just don't see them taking the belt off Kyrie yet. It'd be stupid in my opinion. That's all.
But at the same time, how do you justify Kyrie beating Baszler twice?
I think Baszler gets disqualified because she goes crazy, beating the living hell out of her.
Okay, I could see that.
That's kind of what I think they'll go with. Because you're right. How do you have her beat her twice with something stupid?
Yeah.
Got to be something where Baszler fucks herself over.
Yeah, like maybe she gets frustrated that she can't pin her and just goes apeshit and doesn't break like a 5 count or something. Tries to like choke her out or something.
Choke her out, or they take it. And the refs are like, no, and then you don't win the match because of this. You're disqualified. So.
Okay.
I see something like that.
I could dig that too, because it's a good way. It's a good way not to have to take the belt off of Kyrie, and still have Baszler look strong. And if you want a third match,
you don't piss off the crowd either. So, I mean, I hope not. At least.
What did you say? I didn't catch it.
Oh, I said you don't piss off the crowd.
Yeah, gotcha.
Something like that.
Gotta stop drinking the soda. I'm burping.
All right. So next is the women's last women's standing match with Becky and Charlotte. This one's very intriguing too. This feud is probably the best feud on TV right now. Becky is just killing it.
And honestly, it's all I like Charlotte.
Yeah, me too. But Becky's just on another level right now.
Yeah, because honestly, Charlotte, not that not that she has much to do, nor do I think Charlotte has done anything wrong, but she's the, you know, the victim, the why did you do this to me? We were friends, kind of thing. And Becky's doing the great heel work, and she's the champ.
I kind of want to compare it to when Batista came back and he kind of got shitted on and blamed for everything, and it was just wrong place, wrong time for him because Daniel Bryan stuff was going on, and this was Vince made a decision. It was the wrong decision. The crowd is not giving up on Becky.
To turn Becky?
Yeah, I mean they're still cheering her. Every city she goes to, she can't do any wrong no matter what they try to do.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it was the wrong decision, and Becky is really, really good as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like I'd equivalent to, and again, not skill levels, and don't judge the person behind the character or whatever, but how like Randy Orton or CM Punk, they're good faces and they're really good heels. Like they can do either one, and it's not like, oh god, they're making him this again. I feel the same way with Becky. Here's the thing, though, is people were so hungry for Becky to win back the belt, or at least get some traction and get something really going well for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And you played the sympathy card with her for a while, and it was just like, like she puts out every night she goes out there and puts on a good match, just comes up short. Oh, the lovable loser kind of thing, right? And you do that for a while, and then she's finally going to get her fucking title shot, and you finally feel like momentum's finally on her side. Maybe this is when everything's going to pay off for Becky and us, and Charlotte comes back.
Yeah, and Charlotte comes back, it was like Cena. It was like a Cena move. Oh, Charlotte's back. Oh, I automatically get thrown into the title match. I just myself in,
Yeah, which I hate comparing Charlotte to Cena, but yeah, I get what you're saying, and I kind of agree with it. I do think Charlotte deserves to be in the title picture anytime that you want.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, this might have been like, just because this in and of itself is not wrong, and just because this in and of itself is not wrong, doesn't mean that these two things should go together at this time. And I think turning Becky and it being against Charlotte when Charlotte came back and kind of screwed Becky, so to speak, out of her deserved one-on-one shot, because it was just one of those things like, fuck, if Becky could just get her hands on Carmella in a legitimate match, and there's no Ellsworth, and there's no distractions, and there's no Money in the Bank, and there's no other people, Becky will finally win. And that was fucking taken away. And I get that all of that makes for a perfect heel turn, and then giving her the belt is still like, oh, well, look, we gave Becky the belt. Isn't that what you guys wanted? And yes, it's nice to see her with the belt, but the heel turn and the belt and Charlotte, I think just, I don't know, the timing or the whatever is just off with that.
Yeah.
Like people were happier to see Becky stop taking shit and win the belt than they were for her to turn heel. Like, I think the only reason that people didn't boo the heel turn or whatever was because it was, this is what it's going to take to get her the belt.
Yeah.
And again, I generally don't. And again, I like Charlotte. I think she's probably the best all-around female wrestler possibly ever. But definitely going right now, especially with them doing nothing with Asuka. So if if Asuka was on a roll and you wanted to throw her in the discussion, maybe she is talented. But I think total package, Charlotte hands down is the best thing going right now. But again, people were so fucking, and also too, like the Rocky kind of comparisons with Becky, right? Becky Balboa and the whole, like, people wanted fucking Rocky to win, like they didn't want to see Rocky turn into a dick and fucking punch Apollo in the nuts. They just wanted to see a good fucking fight, and this time Rocky comes out on top.
Yeah.
So instead of Rocky 2, we got fucking Creed. Or no, even better, Rocky 5 with fucking Tommy the Machine Gun, right?
God, please don't remind me of that movie.
Yeah, no, that would exist, everybody. I love the Rocky franchise, but for me, it stops at 4. I heard the newer ones are okay, but I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, the newer ones were. Creed's amazing.
I definitely got to watch it then.
Yeah, Creed was good.
And they did another one too, where Rocky's son becomes a fighter too, or something like that, right? After 5.
No, what happens? This guy's like challenging Rocky because they did like a video game thing, but his son's in it, and he's kind of living in Rocky's shadow, and he's jealous of him, and every time they see him, all they talk about is his father. So it's what's his name? Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah, the dude from Heroes.
Yeah.
And
Jack from
This Is Us or whatever. Or...
Yeah. But yeah, that was that movie, and then he helps train him and gets him, and whatever, he comes around. So, anywho, so who do you got winning that match?
I hope, and I think Becky retains.
Yeah, I think Becky retains. I think it's one of those things where Charlotte something falls on Charlotte, and that's why she can't get up. I don't think it's going to be that Becky beat her in a way.
The only thing, I honestly, that I'm really hoping for out of this match is we don't have one of those, I'm about to smash Charlotte's head with a TV, and I don't, and then Charlotte gets the roll up and wins the title back.
Well, that can't. It's a last moment standing, so that kind of can't happen. But
no, but I mean, I'm saying like that kind of thing. Like I don't want it to be some kind of
Gargano thing. Like you don't want that ending. You don't want the Gargano Ciampa ending, where the babyface screws themselves or the heel in a way screws themselves.
No, where it's like Becky second guesses what she's about to do and loses because of it.
Well, yeah, that's how Gargano lost.
No, is it? I don't. I thought it went differently.
Yeah. Well, he kind of stopped himself, and then he went, and then he went too hard or whatever. He overdid it.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I don't want one of those moments. It's probably going to happen at some point where Becky is faced with the should I or shouldn't I.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want that to cost the match. Like I don't want that to be the fucking ending. Like Charlotte then gets up and fucking hits her with a sledgehammer. I always have a plan B. Like. I just don't want that shit.
Yeah.
And I am nervous because I do want Becky to retain. And I'm only 51-49 on this because I can definitely see them having Charlotte win too.
Yeah.
The retribution for the face and then the heel, has to come back and whatever, and then Becky gets her rematch and the feud continues, right?
Yeah.
Because honestly, here's the thing, right? And maybe this is okay, and maybe they will do this, but you have this whole thing, right? This feud's been going on for a while, and as great as it is, you have a last woman standing match, and Becky wins, the feud can't continue. You can't just have Charlotte walk out the next night on SmackDown and be like, yeah, well, you beat me, but, like, we used to be friends, and I'm still mad at you for doing that. So, like, let's fight next month.
Well, no, because I think you can still keep it going by if she loses in a way where she costs herself to win, not that, like I said, Becky beat her.
But okay, so Charlotte costs herself a win. Why does she deserve another shot?
I don't know, because you still got to settle it. Listen,
no, but that's the thing. If Becky wins, it's fucking settled. The heel wins the last standing match, it's fucking settled. It's got to be.
All right.
This feud can't continue with the face losing and then coming back and still getting another shot. The only thing is if somehow Becky cheats to win, like she hits her with fucking... I don't know. I mean, everything goes in the last man standing match, right?
No cheating.
Yeah, so I cannot see a way this feud continues off the top of my head if Becky wins. I just don't. And I'm going to lose interest in this feud if it continues and they don't have a creative way for it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, too, the other thing, too, I think they get too caught up in this with the heavyweight belt feuds. They just have them go on for 6 months now, it seems. Like, what happened to, okay, I beat this guy. Maybe he gets a rematch because of something, or he wins a number one contender. And what, like, there's no more like, all right, back of the line with you, pal. You know, that used to be a thing. You know, a guy tries once, a guy tries again. Maybe they get a rematch. You know, like maybe the heel cheated to retain the belt. Maybe they got disqualified or counted out. All right, the feud continues. Great. This is a good feud, right? Nothing about this right now has been bad. But at some point in time, every good feud at its peak maybe should end then. Because you know what? These girls can fight again in fucking 2 years if we want. Or 6 months, for fucking sake. But I just don't see a heel winning a last man standing match and then not getting to move on. I think that's at least for me. But it would have to be a really, really creative way for Charlotte to get another shot after this feud's gone on for this long, you know?
Yeah.
So, what about you? You think Becky retains?
Yeah, I think Becky retains. I don't think you put on Charlotte right now. And I mean, I'm using outside reasons too because I know her and Rick are in a lawsuit right now, and they probably don't want to put the title on her while this is going on. So,
fuck that shit.
But listen, we know they use outside stuff when they put decisions.
Yeah. No, I know, but it's a fucking bullshit lawsuit.
But either way, I don't think Becky should lose it. I think it would hurt her a lot. I think losing the title right now.
I agree too. Yeah, and that's my biggest thing with and again, nothing against Charlotte. I like Charlotte, but Becky needs to retain to get some momentum, and I think this feud should end for now. You know.
Yeah.
You know, it should be one of those things where it's like, well, you know what, Becky, you really aren't my friend anymore, and they just go their separate ways because she lost. She got 3 opportunities to beat Becky. She lost. That's it.
Yep, over and done with. All right, so now on to the main event. Nikki Bella challenging Charlotte. I'm sorry, Ronda Rousey. Wow.
Yeah. Talk about a come out of nowhere and get a title shot, huh?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I barely tolerate it when it's Charlotte. Because Charlotte's good, and again, like I said, she's at that. I feel she's already at that kind of. Obviously, I think she has better matches, but that Cena thing, where honestly, anytime Cena needs to or should be back in the title picture, they can always do it because he's Cena, right?
Yep.
Not anymore per se, but like in the height of the Cena era, right? Because you can call it the reality era or the after the ruthless aggression era all you want, but it's the fucking Cena era.
It's the Cena era.
It's the spinner belt era.
It's called what it is. So I just don't know how they're doing this match. I just can't imagine Ronda selling for Nikki Bella. I just can't. It's not even believable whatsoever. I believe Big Show selling for Rey Mysterio before I believe Nikki Bella selling for Ronda Rousey.
Well, again, they're going to use all of Nikki's experience in the ring.
Well, I also think it's gonna be a lot of, and you're gonna have Brie out there, so I think it's gonna kind of be like a little.
Oh yeah, there's going to be tons of shenanigans in this match.
So, yeah.
We better keep our eyes peeled. Those Bellas are known to pull the twin magic before.
Yeah.
Because they're identical.
Won't be twin magic. Real botch a move, and that's how you know it's Brie and not Nikki.
Yeah, it's not the fucking implants, right?
No. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to unless she put some tissues in there.
Yeah.
Although, listen, she was looking pretty good for a while, but I think when she was breastfeeding, but I think that's over with from what I saw on Total Divas. So I think she's done with the breastfeeding.
Is the breastfeeding on Total Divas done, and then we still
Yes.
working into the storylines?
Yes. So who knows? Yeah, I think it finished like last week.
Thank God that they've sort of started separating the storylines, at least from the show.
Mm-hmm.
That was god awful when people were having a feud because 6 months ago they taped having a feud.
Yeah.
That was fucking infuriating.
That's ridiculous.
And again, and again, especially as a heel, I get why they're doing the whole "we're the Bellas, we started the fucking evolution." But when your matches are being booked around something that was taped on E 6 months ago, it's not the height of the women's evolution. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. And listen, I got to give him props because I mean, this feud was doing nothing, and then you just have that promo that Ronda cut, which was fucking amazing. Holy shit! And just the way she hit that line, fucking beautiful.
I don't know. I don't think the promo was amazing. I think she had a couple of good points and she delivered on when she needed to.
Yeah, it was
The whole promo wasn't that great though.
But if it was interesting to find out that she wrote it. She had a lot of input.
Okay, that's nice to hear. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, she had wrote it. Heyman was helping them a little, but
okay.
He kind of wrote her lines, and she kind of even wrote Nikki's lines. So of how she respond.
Dude, that's what they should. Honestly,
that's the way it should be.
That's what Heyman. I think. I think the biggest contribution Heyman could do right now is to help creative with the women's division.
Yeah, well, that's what he's doing. He was helping Ronda with this, so because he knows her character, he knows who she is, so he's probably one of the best people to do it.
Well, he knows who she should be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My only issues with Ronda is again how they've kind of pushed her, and now I knew that she's more like an Oscar and AJ Styles, right? She's no spring chicken, and
she's only going to be here a couple of years because she wants to have a kid.
Yeah,
you had to capitalize on her quick, so I get it.
Sure, but I don't think she should have won the title as quickly as she did. First off, I don't think she should have had that match. The fact that they turned Nia heel for 3 weeks to do it, was retarded. I don't even think they should have put her in that match. She should have had a couple matches under her belt as a singles competitor, beat a couple girls, maybe even beat Nia leading up to she gets to challenge Nia. Maybe that's when you can turn Nia a little bit for that match because, Ronda's coming at her crazy. So, whatever. But it was all awkward. Like when Nia challenged her at the whatever red carpet thing that was, or yeah. So
who challenges someone when you have the title?
Yeah, but also too, it was done in like this whole like, hey, wouldn't it be great if yay, and it was like, oh, cool, all right, well, whatever. But then it's like, then you turn Nia quasi heel after you fucking just like a couple weeks ago turned her face with the whole Alexa shit. I don't know. The build was terrible, and then the whole cash in thing and all that kind of stuff, and then you have Ronda go back and just basically be on a mission, and it's like, all right, no one can fucking stop Ronda. Here's this woman who at least for a few months you could have played the, all right, she's a scary, crazy, dominant MMA style grappler, right? Who, as good as these girls are at wrestling, in a fight, right, Ronda would probably have the upper hand over most of them, if not all of them, especially as she gets more accustomed to the wrestling aspect of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You close that door on that so early. And now Ronda is just this unstoppable force, and she has the belt. How the fuck what are you going to do? This is like when you bring back the Big Show as a heel and he's angry and they gave him that choke move and he's just like fucking throwing around people like fucking dead fish. It was worse than the Master Lock. It's tough when you bring back these dominant wrestlers like Big Show, Mark Henry. On the women's division, Ronda kind of, not that she's huge, but with as dangerous as she is in the octagon in real fighting, it's hard to kind of tone it down to the fact that, okay, she can maybe lose a match in the WWE eventually. You know? And I thought that, especially with, now, she worked extremely hard. She does not look bad in the ring. She also struggles, like Baszler, with the giving the face time to come back kind of stuff, or not the face, but like in this situation, but giving the opponent the time to come back and get their offense in. She still struggles a little bit with that. The selling is, so-so with her, but she's new, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then why did she have to have the belt on her already? You at least know that you have her for a couple of years, right?
I think the belt was only put on her for this pay-per-view. That's what I think the belt was only put on her because of this pay-per-view.
You think
Otherwise, I think they would have waited till WrestleMania, if not.
Wow, I don't know. Didn't they announce this after all that went down, though?
Yeah, but they knew about this for a while. They knew this was happening.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
I think so. I think they would have waited and had her have the big coronation at WrestleMania next year against Charlotte. I think. But
again, there's no big coronation here at this pay-per-view either. She's already won the belt.
It was just to get people to buy tickets and have her as the champ going in.
You get just as many eyes on the pay-per-view if it's Ronda Rousey, who's been kicking ass lately, going for a belt. She'd still be on the card. She doesn't have to be. And what bigger attraction do you want to draw people in with than here's Ronda Rousey. She's about to fucking tear the women's title off of whoever has it. Come watch the pay-per-view. What's bigger than that?
No, I agree. I'm with you. I'm going by their logic, and I know how they think. That's all.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that's what they should have done. But anyway. Yeah, honestly, unfortunately, I think there is a world where Nikki Bella wins this match. So I would not be surprised if...
No, there is not a world where she wins. That's like Earth 25.
You just tried to tell me that, well, I understand WWE's logic, but you think there's no logic in WWE's mind that Nikki Bella getting the belt back is a good thing right now?
I think it destroys everything Ronda Rousey is and stands for. I think it would kill her. I think it's...
Maybe if it was a one-on-one match in a cage, sure. It's a shenanigans match.
Yeah,
there's going to be Brie Bella and whatchamacallit interference in this.
There is, but you're in New York too, man. I don't see them doing it.
Frank, when has that ever stopped them from doing something we didn't like?
I agree, but I think it's crazy. I just think it's insane.
Why?
Because it is.
How many? You said ticket sales went up when Nikki Bella got put on this pay-per-view, right? For this match?
Well, when they booked the match, yeah.
Okay. So she drives money, right?
Yeah, because people want to see Ronda kick her ass. That's why.
That's fine.
That's why I want to watch.
Ronda can kick her ass next month in the pay-per-view when she rips her arm off and takes her belt back.
I don't know. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, well, I wish I had your faith. So you're telling me you think there's a way that Becky can win the fight, but Charlotte can still fight for it, but there's no way Nikki Bella can win a belt at a pay-per-view?
I don't think so.
I don't know, dude. I'm not saying I think it's going to happen. I'm putting my vote on Ronda retains, but I'm not going to be shocked. I'll be disappointed, but I will not be shocked if Nikki Bella walks out of that pay-per-view with the fucking belt. The heel that claims she started the evolution, walking out with the belt, does not surprise me in the least.
Well, she didn't start the revolution. She's a fucking asshole.
No, but dude, yeah, okay. She's a heel that said she started the revolution.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. So at least we're different on this. So what's your pick, Nikki or Ronda?
No, I'm picking Ronda.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, I'm not going to be surprised if Nikki Bella wins. And you should not have a 99% favoring of Ronda in this match in the least, dude.
I do, but all right. I believe I don't see any way Nikki walks out with it. That's just my opinion. I don't even think they're. I think they're gone.
Brie interferes. Brie hits her in the back of the head with something while the ref's not looking. While the ref is telling Natalia to get down off the apron from yelling at Brie, Brie hits her in the back of the head. Nikki pins her. Boom, 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 and you're new. You're telling me you can't see a way where this fucking happens, dude?
I just, I don't see it.
Okay.
My opinion. I'm sticking to it.
That's fine. And by all stretch of the imagination, there's absolutely positively no ounce of me that wants Nikki to win. But I'm telling you right now, do not be shocked if she walks out with the belt.
All right.
Especially with all the shenanigans that they fucking pull, dude. Mm-hmm. Think of all the fucking outcomes that we've seen. Look at all the Brock shit. Look at what they've not done with Strowman. Look at what they have done with Reigns. Like,
yeah,
there is a long litany of fucking things that they shouldn't have done that they've done in the name of what's best for business. And Nikki Bella drives money, just like you said. Why not squeeze one more fucking pay-per-view out of this rivalry or feud or whatever it is? It's not a rivalry.
Yeah. All right. We'll see what happens. All right. I know we're running long now, but I just want to touch base on the Dean Ambrose turn. What were your thoughts? I liked it. I thought it was amazing. And I know some people thought it was whatever. They didn't like the fact that they were capitalizing on real emotion. I thought it was perfect.
I don't care at all that Roman, as far as Dean turning, I don't care at all that Roman announced he has cancer. I don't care one bit whatsoever. Why would Dean Ambrose, after dealing with all this bullshit, still go and have a match with Seth, win the titles, and without provocation still turn?
Well, I think what he was saying was he was still pissed about Seth calling him the lunatic and whatever.
So why not punch him in his face and not wrestle with him? Why not fight him for his Intercontinental belt?
I don't know.
Why still pretend to be his friend when that's not what you do?
Because you're a heel. You're turning heel. You got to do it. You don't want to do anything suspects it or whatever. I don't know. Because listen, he did it to him, so he wants to do it back to him. It was him getting revenge on everything that he put them through.
It seemed retarded to do it there when they win the titles.
I know that's kind of that's the problem I have. Like, what happens now with the?
Look, if you want to tell me that they fight for the titles,
lose,
and something happens, and like again, Seth accidentally hits Dean or something, and Dean just absolutely loses it and turns heel on him, beats the shit out of him, or Dean gets pinned because of something stupid that he feels Seth did, sure. But again, why wrestle with the dude for the titles, win the titles, and then still turn? That didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I think that's my problem.
And then you have this added wrinkle that now they're the tag team champs and they're fucking fighting.
Yeah, so
why did we need to add that to it? And again, he's the fucking Intercontinental Champion. Can we fucking do something about that? Can that be a fucking thing again? Where, you have a champ and they fucking wrestle for it? And I get it. The Shield stuff and all that kind of stuff. But again now Seth has the Intercontinental and the tag team title, and you started with a fucking feud with Dean, who just turned. After all this shit about we're brothers and we won't turn. After all the adversity that they did go through, all the times that it would have made sense for fucking Dean to do it, he fucking waits until he wins the tag belts with him to do it? That, even for the fucking lunatic fringe, that seems a little fucking kooky. You want to have them have a shot. You want to have them lose the belts, and he turns because of that, or he turns in the match so they don't get to win the belts. Whatever the fucking case may be, that's fine. Then they can have a feud for the Intercontinental belt. What they did made no sense. I feel. I'm not saying a Dean Ambrose heel turn was bad. I'm not saying him screwing Seth is bad. But again, the fucking way they choose to do these things sometimes makes no fucking sense to me.
Listen, they did a lot of crazy things. I mean, you had Elias turn babyface. They turned Braun Strowman back to babyface, and
well, with Roman Reigns not being around, there's a lot of things that need to change.
Yeah, it was kind of like they had to do a big reset and kind of just figure out what they're going to do. That's the other big question now. Who's going to be pushed as the top guy now? Is it going to be Braun? Is it going to be Seth? Like where are they going to go with this?
I think short term it's got to be Braun, but I don't know what's. I don't know where you go with who matches up and all that kind of stuff. Especially, and I don't think it can be Seth because he's just starting a fucking feud with Dean.
Yeah, but I mean, eventually, like I want to know who's going to have the big.
Fucking eventually, it would have been somebody besides Roman too. You talk 6 months, a year from now. Someone else besides Reigns was going to have a title.
Yeah, I think eventually it has to be Seth. I think he's a real top babyface from Raw.
Yeah,
realistically,
I think even with Reigns there, he was still the fucking top guy. But that's neither here nor there now.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I don't know. I think what they should do is they should be pushing Elias. And I mean, and I don't know. Have you heard anything? Has he been nursing injuries or anything? Why has he not been wrestling almost at all?
Just
like I'm fine with the heel guitar gimmick.
Just again,
but there's only so far that gets you before he needs to fucking actually do something in the ring.
I don't know.
And they have not had him wrestle almost at all on TV. Maybe he's working house shows and this is the angle and whatever, but I don't know. This again, this feels like one of those like, all right, this guy's hurt, but we got a good thing going. Let's not fuck it up by having him miss 3 months, Yeah,
I haven't heard anything about him being hurt or anything. I think it's just part of the gimmick and what they've been doing. And like sometimes he'll do something after them. He'll have a match sometimes after.
But again, if it's not on TV, it's not part of the story.
Well, I think
and the whole thing about these guys is the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's cool when we see cool things happen, on someone's cell phone recording after Raw goes off. It's cool to see like the heels and the faces, and it's funny to hear some of the things they say. But none of that is canon, so to speak, right? It's not in the storyline. It's not real, right? As far as the illusion of WWE, right? The storylines that we hang to every day, the immersion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dark matches are not part of that. It becomes part of the lore of a wrestler or wrestling, but it's not fucking real as far as the stories go. Yeah. So anything cool that Elias has done off of TV has not existed as far as the storyline goes. And dude, this guy has definitely has it. He's not gonna wow you like Reigns or Rollins can, right? But he's got a great physique, he's got a good look. He looks powerful. He looks like he can take a beating either as a heel or as a face, He's got to work on his moves a little bit, but he's pretty reliable in the ring. He seems like a good worker.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't seen a ton of him.
Yeah, but like match with Cena, he can go.
Oh, sure. But I mean, again, right? You don't judge somebody with how they look with Cena.
Yeah.
You judge them how they look with Seth and Finn and Kevin Owens and all these guys,
He's been okay. He gets by. I don't think he's anything superb yet, but he does
the
job.
No, and again, he's not going to wow you, but he is fucking solid, and he's great on the mic, right? He's good with the crowds, whether it's good with getting a reaction or getting them to boo, and I mean like a positive reaction. He's good at getting them to boo him. You know, people are genuinely behind this dude. Like, they want to see him on TV. Right? This isn't like people don't boo him like they used to boo Vicky or, you know, shit like that.
Hmm.
Like, this is legitimately like people want to see him fucking do shit.
Yep.
And whether it's the US title or the Intercontinental belt or maybe eventually the world title, this dude needs to start climbing the ranks.
I agree.
Start wrestling like meaningful matches and get pushed.
Agreed. Agreed. I'm with you.
Elias. So Seth, I mean, obviously I think Finn automatically jumps into the picture again.
Also, I think Vince just has an idea for. I just think Vince has an idea of what he is in his head, and he's never gonna get past that. But we'll see.
But if that's the case, then they wouldn't have fucking put the belt on him.
No, they tried, and he got hurt, and I think Vince's confidence was gone after that.
Okay. So who else then? Who's he gonna push?
No, I mean, I think your top heels are going to be McIntyre and Dean for now, and then it's going to be Seth and Braun. I think those are your top guys right now.
Okay. Who else though? What else is going on?
I don't know. I mean, listen, Balor's the mid Carter. Kevin KO's gone for a while too, so
Yeah, that actually hurts a lot right now.
Yeah, he's gone for 6 months at least.
So it was a knee surgery, right? ACL
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, both knees.
Fuck.
I don't think it's I don't know if it's ACL, but it wasn't like major. But I think because it's both knees, it's going to take a while for obviously him to rehab and get better.
Dude, even just one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think because it wasn't whatever it wasn't serious, but it's serious enough that he should have surgery.
Yeah.
And if you're doing one, if you're a wrestler, if you're doing one, you should do both.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if the other one's going to cost you something in a year or two, Especially with KO, man. He's not he's not some young dude coming up.
Yeah, he's not young. He's been around a while. He's done a lot of hardcore matches,
Yeah, but I mean, even if take the hardcore aspect out of it, dude, he's 30 something, and he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
How many years does he legitimately or realistically have? He's not 20 something coming up, So even guys, look at the guys like Cena and other guys. Like their bodies just eventually start to not be what they used to in their 20s, right? Oh. It's fucking natural progression.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know. It'd be also. I'm also interested to see how this vacuum, if at all, affects like SmackDown. Let's say. Right, because eventually, at some point, you gotta do a roster shakeup, right? That's coming around relatively soon, right?
No, it's after Mania.
Which is here. Okay, yeah, it's not as soon as I thought. I thought it was going to be like a few months from now, but it's almost like half a year.
No, it's 6 months away.
God, it's been that long since we fucking did something with this fucking roster shit. I don't want to deal with this too much because, again, like you said, this is our first show back. We shouldn't do 2 hours, but the concept of potentially merging the rosters again with the Fox stuff looming and everything, the contracts.
I hate it. I think it's stupid. Stick with this. It's been working. We're used to it. It's giving everybody their own time. Merge the rosters. You can go back to where you were before, and just a lot of guys not getting used properly and not getting chances. I think it's stupid.
Like everybody that's getting chances now.
I mean, I don't know.
Honestly, and this was my point. I had the.
All right, let's
outside of AJ.
Yeah.
Who has this really highlighted as a star?
What's on SmackDown or just
just the brand split? Who has been giving
stars? I mean, listen, for whatever reason,
Nakamura.
They want AJ. Yeah, I know. But
Finn,
they got
even Seth.
They got title matches, though. I mean, I think if there was all one roster, I don't think they all would have got the title shots.
Yeah, but if you only have one title, maybe there's more intercontinental and U.S. title shots. And also, too, when was the last time they fucking used those belts? Nakamura and Seth have the belts right now.
I know.
They haven't done jack shit with them in fucking 6 months, basically.
I did hear that they
Maybe
were
not 6,
doing
but
something where it was like Corbin was not letting them defend the titles, and that was the storyline they were going with. But I guess they have to
yeah,
change.
but that was leading up to his big pay-per-view, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? I mean, still, but that, even if in storyline Corbin wouldn't let them, like, what the fuck are you doing not having your belts defended? You have all these people that supposedly you're pushing on both these shows, and you're not doing anything with them.
Oh, I'm with you,
And
man.
you know what I can't see? I can't see Seth and AJ. I can't see fucking Roman and anybody, but I can't see Roman and AJ. I can't see Roman and Samoa Joe. I can't see fucking Seth and Nakamura. You know, there's tons of. To me, it seems more limiting than positive because they're not doing anything positive with this brand split. Again, outside of AJ Styles having a nice long run as champ, I don't see that this brand split has opened up all these fantastic doors lately. I'm not look, it's okay for now. And also too, it's not even any easier on the wrestlers because Monday Night Raw is wrestling Tuesday house shows. SmackDown is wrestling Monday house shows. They still have the exact same fucking workload.
Yeah.
It's not any fucking easier on the wrestlers. So anybody that brings that up, it's not true. It just isn't. In fact, they might be working more now because they go and they perform for the house shows. Whereas if you were both on Raw and SmackDown, sometimes you didn't wrestle both shows. You were on both shows, you cut promos, you set up matches. You didn't necessarily have to wrestle both nights.
Yeah.
And the concept of it opening up, I think, is a good one. But I don't think they've proven that it winds up being any more beneficial for anybody. Right? Think about it. Who's a star right now that wouldn't be if the shows are merged?
I don't
Samoa
think.
Joe, whether he was fighting AJ for the title or Seth for the title or fucking Roman for no title, Joe's awesome. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What showcases has been put on Nakamura? Corbin's not stopping him from fucking defending a belt.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with him.
They haven't done anything with the U.S. title, man. For months,
That,
they out of nowhere they had Jeff Hardy come back and win it. Okay, cool, whatever. And then there was the Randy Orton stuff and the Nakamura stuff and the excuse me, belt changes, blah blah blah. This and that, everything's going on. You're like, all right, cool, and then nothing.
yeah.
They pretty much had Nakamura practically not wrestle for like a month. They did nothing with that belt. Seth has the Intercontinental belt and a fucking tag belt, and he's a main eventer anyway. So they've done nothing on Raw with the tag belts whatsoever.
Oh, that, yeah. Oh,
so it's not like if there was only one tag team belt that the same shit wouldn't be going on. Because Drew and Ziggler, you team them up with Braun anyway, it doesn't matter if they're the tag team champs or not. It sets up a couple different matchups. It sets up the rivalry between them and Dean and Seth if you want. But then you went and fucking turned Dean anyway. So now you have fucking tag team championship up in the air, the Intercontinental Championship up in the air, the United States title up in the air. SmackDown only barely does anything with their SmackDown tag titles right now. Right? Somebody holds them for fucking 6 months and then someone wins it. And then someone holds it for 6 months. You know, outside of the Bludgeon Brothers, which was a fucking hiccup, and now one of them's hurt again. Like, honestly, I understand the concept of the split helping create new stars, but literally, what have they done with it to prove that it's done well?
No, they can't do anything well.
So, from my estimation, if nobody is getting a shining spotlight that wouldn't have like, it's not like Zack Ryder or Heath Slater or fucking Kurt Hawkins all of a sudden has all this TV time now.
Kirk has his TV time here and there.
Where? When was the last time you saw him on?
Oh,
they did that. They did that little spoof when he was leading up to 100 losses in a row.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, you're right. It's about a month or two ago.
Yeah, and you think he's coming on anytime soon? If it's not to hold back Joe and AJ or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
They have fucking Mr. Maria Kanellis. They have nothing for fucking him right now.
He should have never been on the main roster to begin with.
Well, maybe,
That was
but
a mistake.
you know what? I could go on for fucking 5 minutes listing all the people that they don't do anything with.
Oh, I know. What's his name? Dillinger. I mean, he
Yeah.
gets little shots here and there, but nothing major.
Yeah, he comes up and it looks like he's getting a push, and then he loses, and he's gone for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Bobby Roode and what's her name are now in a tag team, and it seems like the only reason they're in a tag team is so that what's his name can annoy Roode so much that they eventually have a feud. Which fucking what does that mean?
Of course,
dude. If the brand split can't put a fucking shine a spotlight on Chad Gable, the fuck, I'd rather see Seth versus AJ than a spotlight on somebody that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, and look, the whole schedule and their whole scheduling has to change next year anyway because Fox is going to air it on Fridays. So, and they still want to stick with the live gimmick, so they have to like completely change their scheduling of what they usually do.
Yeah, that's another thing to work around now.
Yeah, because usually they work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then they were off Wednesday and Thursday and go back to work on Friday. Now
even then, Fridays were, it was more about press and stuff like that, right? They didn't.
No, they had house shows. No, there were house shows.
House shows Friday night.
Yeah, I think there were house shows on Friday nights.
Oh, okay. Did they used to have that?
I think it was only Saturday and Sundays originally. I think Vince added Fridays on.
Yeah, so if anything, the fucking for anybody that's arguing that the schedule is lighter, they added a fucking day. Go fuck yourselves.
Yep. No, they did. And I think it's absolutely stupid that they do a house show when your own show is on. You're taking viewers away so they can come watch the other guys.
Well, that's the thing. They would wrestle on Tuesdays and show it on Friday, so they had Friday off.
No. I'm just talking about now.
No, I agree.
Like, why are you having a house show going up against when you're airing a live television show? Like, I don't understand that. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Because you get to see Raw. Oh, great. That's what I'm saying. All these things that people bring up as positives for the brand split, they're fucking most of them are smoke and mirrors.
Well, because people don't know the real schedule. They don't understand it.
Well, even with the schedule, I mean, it's still, again, like I said, I could spend 5 minutes just listing people that should be fucking bigger than they are right now, and they just don't do anything with them.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. Does this make room maybe for Lashley to get some traction?
Maybe. Oh yeah, he can be. I mean, I think he's hurt right now, but I heard something.
Is that why they're just doing like almost squash matches and stuff?
Yeah. So he's battling something. I mean, he's wrestling. He's wrestling through the injuries, but he is hurt.
Yeah. Well, and that's fine. And again, like it happens a lot, and that's again going back to the Roman Reigns thing. I was like, oh, fucking something caught up to him.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably fighting. He was, literally fighting through something. But I was like, he's probably fighting through an injury, and now it's caught up, and he needs surgery, and he's got to relinquish the belt. This sucks. And again, I didn't necessarily want Roman as champ, but at the same time, him having to, whether it's an injury or cancer or whatever, just an out of nowhere, so to speak, relinquish of the belt doesn't do anything for continuity or flow right now, and that's one of the biggest issues right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, we say this all the time, but man, they really, especially right now, they need to go back to basics. They need to start being more diligent on what kind of feuds they put together, and these guys need to step up with their characters too. And I know it's hard when you don't have
no direction. You know where you're going week to week.
Yeah, no, I know, but okay, did that stop Stone Cold?
No, come on, they had direction with his character.
Once he became Stone Cold, yes, but what was he doing before he became Stone Cold Steve Austin? What was he doing as Stunning Steve or anything like that? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
He went out there and he fucking turned the volume up to 11 and challenged you not to fucking put him in the main event. These guys need to start doing that. I know it's a different environment now, and
They're afraid, man. It's like walking on eggshells there, though. They're afraid.
well, that's part of the issue. And it doesn't mean that you can't fucking step up with your character or something, at least a little bit.
Hmm.
Somebody's gotta step up and step out.
I think Drew is. I think he's doing his best. He's doing a good job.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, dude. I'm not saying nobody's doing a good job. Seth is amazing. I think Dean coming back, whether I like the heel turn or not, I think was a good thing. He adds something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But think of all these other guys, right? Ty Dillinger and even to some degree, like Nakamura and like some of these guys need to fucking step up. Otherwise, it's going to go right back to the Cena times where it's like he only trusts fucking 5 guys, and that's all you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
And as much as I like the New Day, they're starting to get stale too.
Oh, they're stale as hell. I was happy Cesaro and Sheamus won. To be honest, I was happy.
To be perfectly honest, I think they need to go back to letting them do their own thing, but without the belts.
Mm.
I think they can tread water like this another year or two if you don't have the belts on them. But I think putting the belts back on them and putting the focus on all of this, it becomes the same old song and dance over and over again. Especially when you have more depth right now than probably since the Attitude Era in the tag teams. And they're doing nothing with it.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's rough to watch sometimes. But anyway, we could go on for fucking 40 minutes and just talking about all the things they're doing wrong right now. But
yeah,
I don't know. Moving forward, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it plays out. We'll have to see if if guys like Finn and some of those other guys that are kind of mid-Carter-ish right now,
yeah, I guess
if given the opportunity. Again, wouldn't you love to see Finn Balor as the Intercontinental Champion fighting fucking all the time? Like I would love to see. Now, granted, what I really thought would have gone over well and might have even helped Roman a bit too. I wanted to see Roman and Elias. I thought physically they matched up well. I thought Elias could hold his own as a heel against Roman and all that kind of stuff.
They had a match, I think, right?
Yeah, they had a couple matches. But again, it was, Elias is there to, put Roman over more. And then it ended. That was it.
Mm.
If you don't never do anything with these things, what does it matter, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hopefully Elias is going to get a shot. Hopefully Finn is going to get a shot. Hopefully this new brand split is going to shine a spotlight on these guys eventually.
Yeah, we'll see.
So anyway, in recap, it sucks that fucking Roman's got to deal with this. Hopefully he beats it, and he beats it quickly.
Yeah.
Evolution is this Sunday. I am excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I want to see how they, especially how they present it, right? Mm-hmm. Like what kind of like show do they put on for it? Because this is a big deal. This is a really, really big deal. Yeah. We went through a stretch in time where women's wrestling was
a joke,
was barely a fucking asterisk in the wrestling world, right? It was a footnote at best. They had a couple of girls that were pretty good for a decent amount of time, but before you had the uprising of, let's say, NXT and all that kind of stuff, you had like AJ Lee, and you had Caitlyn, and like a couple girls that were pretty good, but again, when you don't have competition or good a good size roster of women, it's tough, because eventually you just see Nikki versus AJ all the time.
Yeah.
I really want to see how because this is a really big deal. No disrespect to the women of like the 80s and 60s and 70s, even, because women's wrestling, I think, was even bigger then than it was post Attitude Era. Because as much as it was bra and panties and stuff like that, there were still really good matches between Trish and Lita. Ivory was good. Jackie was good. They had some good storylines for these girls back then. Yes, there was a lot of tits and ass, and there was bra and panties and pillow fights and all that kind of shit. But there was some decent women's wrestling. Once it got past that, though, it was the same goofy gimmick of women's wrestling without the talent for some of the time, And as good as Trish and Lita were, again, like, if there's nobody to take that forward, and there really wasn't that much options they had because they weren't concentrating on it. Same thing with tag teams. If you neglect tag teams, the tag team division gets bad. You turn all of them into singles wrestlers, and then you only have like, the Dudleys and the Hardys, and images of the past of people that are either hanging on or whatever. You're not creating new blood. You're not creating new rivalries. You're not creating a new division. So, and again, they have more talent today, probably from top to bottom, right? The roster is deeper today than possibly ever, right?
Yeah.
From top of the card to fucking jobbers. They're probably more talented today than they've ever been. It shouldn't be like this.
Yeah.
And I'd really hopefully maybe this, losing Roman, as unfortunate as it is, hopefully we can find a silver lining in all this, and they change up some things and some good feuds come out of this or something. I don't know. And again, not that things are Roman's fault, right? But maybe this is just one of those things like, oh shit, we have a big void to fill. Who do we do? Who does it? Because they're starting to let themselves get back into that phase of like when Kurt left and Edge gets hurt and all this kind of stuff, all the carryover from like the Attitude Era into the Ruthless Aggression Era, right? All those guys started waning, right? And like just like when you lost HBK and Triple H and Undertaker to either part time or no time, and it was all Cena. Like, how are you letting it get back to that situation when you have this much talent?
No, great.
And again, I don't know if they're scared of these guys not performing or whatever. But if you don't put them out there to try, how are you going to know if they're going to fail?
Sure.
So
anyway, so much for not going 2 hours.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, we had a lot to cover, and the Roman stuff was huge and big pay-per-view, and again, that's why I almost didn't want to even get into Saudi too much tonight.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we can talk about it next week. It's fine.
Sure. There's a whole shitload of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but yeah, looking forward to Evolution. I hope I hope it comes off good.
Yeah, I hope it does well, and it comes off good, and everyone enjoys it.
Sure. All right, it was good back fucking talking live wrestling with you, brother.
Yep, it's good to talk again, finally. All right, brother, thanks for listening. As always, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I think that's it. Instagram we don't use, but it's there.
All right, everybody, thanks for listening. We'll check you out soon.
Thanks.